Children, so we are going to find out electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged hollow shell by applying Gauss's law. So this is the third application of Gauss's law. So what do you mean by a hollow shell? So here I have drawn one sphere, and here no charges reside inside the sphere. The charges are distributed only on the surface of the sphere like this. So such a sphere can be considered as a shell. This is a hollow shell. Nothing is there inside the shell or inside the sphere. It is empty. Okay. Now consider a point P at a distance r from the center of the shell. Our aim is to find out the electric field at the point P by applying Gauss's law. And you know, in order to apply Gauss's law, the first step is to construct a Gaussian surface, and that Gaussian surface must enclose this point P. So here I am going to construct a Gaussian surface like this, which encloses the point P. Okay, and you remember the Gaussian surface must be a closed surface. So our Gaussian surface is in the form of sphere. Now let capital R be the radius of this small sphere. Okay, capital R be the radius of this small sphere, that means our shell. So the big circle is our Gaussian surface and the smaller one is our shell. Next, consider a small area element here. Okay, and what is the direction of area vector? Area vector will be acting along this direction, perpendicular to the plane or that area element. And what is the direction of electric field? Here you have positive charges. And for a positive charge, electric field will be pointing outward normally. So again, this is the direction of electric field. So electric field and the area vector is pointing along the same direction. So the angle between them, theta, will be 0. And at any points throughout the sphere, it will be like this. Electric field and area vector will be always pointing along the same direction. So if we want to confirm, just confirm here. So consider an area element on the Gaussian surface like this. What is the direction of area vector? This will be the direction of area vector, perpendicular to that area element. And what will be the direction of electric field? Yes, here we have positive charge and the direction of electric field will be acting along this way, perpendicularly outward. So again, electric field and area vector acts along the same direction. So the angle between them is 0. Now we can apply our Gauss's law. So what is Gauss's law? Yes, closed integral E dot ds equal to Q by epsilon naught. And this Q is the net charge, Q net. Okay. And here we need to consider three cases. First case is the electric field intensity inside the sphere and the electric field intensity inside the shell, the electric field intensity on the surface of the shell, and also the electric field intensity on the outer area or outside the shell. So here we have considered the electric field intensity at P, and P is a point residing outside the shell. So first we can calculate the electric field intensity outside the shell, that means at the point P. Okay, so that is our aim. So consider the Gauss's law again. Integral E dot ds is equal to Q net by epsilon naught. Here what is E dot ds? E dot, when you expand E dot ds, you will get E ds cos theta. And what is the angle between electric field vector or the area element ds? Here instead of ds we can write dA, because we used to represent area vector using dA. So E dot dA is E dA cos theta. And what is the angle between electric field vector and the area element dA? Yes, it is always 0. So cos theta is cos 0, and you know cos 0 is 1. So integral E dot dA will be E dA equal to Q net by epsilon naught. Okay, so children, be with me, be ready with your pen and notebook and try to do the derivation along with me. Okay, so that we can easily follow it. So this will be our first step. Closed integral E dA is equal to Q net by epsilon naught. Now, as we have done in our previous sessions, electric field density is constant, so it can be taken outside the integral. So that will be next step. E into integral dA is equal to Q net by epsilon naught. Okay. Next, E into integral dA. When you integrate dA, you know integral of dx is x. So similarly, integral of dA will be the total area of this particular shell. And what will be the total surface area of the shell? That is 4 pi r square. That is the total surface area of the shell, since it is in the form of sphere, equal to Q net by epsilon naught. Okay, so therefore what is E, which implies electric field intensity E equal to Q by 4 pi r square into epsilon naught. Okay, so please note down the steps, because I am going to rub all the steps now and I need to continue with the next step since we have limited space here. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can note down the steps. So we got an expression for electric field intensity, that is E equal to Q by 4 pi r square into epsilon naught. Okay, and why we substituted 4 pi small r square? You may have doubt in that. Why don't we use 4 pi, why don't we write 4 pi capital R square? Because capital R is the radius of that shell. Why? Because integral E dot dA, this dA indicates the area of the Gaussian surface. And which is our Gaussian surface? The bigger sphere is our Gaussian surface. And what is the radius of that bigger one, or what is the radius of that Gaussian surface? It is smaller. So here we need to substitute the area of a Gaussian surface. So that's why we wrote R, small r square here. Okay, so this is the expression, final expression for electric field. We need to modify this expression. So that will be done in the next slide. So I had told you some modifications are required here. We need to rewrite this charge Q in terms of charge density. So here, which charge density is applicable? We have studied 3 charge densities: lambda, then sigma, then rho. Lambda is line charge density, sigma is surface charge density, and rho is volume charge density. So which is applicable here? This line charge density is ruled out because it is applicable only for a straight conductor. Since we have a spherical structure here, you may think rho, that means the volume charge density, is applicable because sphere is a 3-dimensional structure. But children, here the charges are not distributed throughout the entire volume of the sphere. Okay, charges are distributed only on the surface of the sphere. Here you can see I had told you no charges are there residing inside the sphere. The inner side of that sphere or shell is empty. Charges reside only on the surface of the shell. So we consider, or we can apply this surface charge density sigma here. And what is surface charge density sigma? Surface charge density sigma is charge by unit area. Okay, again There is a confusion. Area. So what is the expression for area? Area is 4 pi r square, right? 4 pi r square. Which r? Is it small r or is it capital R? Okay, here we are considering the surface charge density of shell. And what is the radius of our shell? Radius of our shell is capital R. So here we need to consider or write capital R, 4 pi r square, right? So what is Q then? From this expression, Q is equal to 4 pi r square into sigma. So you need to substitute this particular expression for Q here. Okay. So what is Q? Q is 4 pi r square into sigma. Now substitute this expression for Q in this equation. Let it be equation number 1. So what you will get? Electric field intensity E is equal to, what is Q? Q is 4 pi r square sigma divided by 4 pi small r square. Next this, and also epsilon naught is here. Okay, then 4 pi cancel. So what is left? Sigma r square divided by epsilon naught small r square. Okay, so this is the expression for electric field intensity due to a hollow shell. Sigma into capital R square by epsilon naught into small r square, where capital R is the radius of radius of our shell and small r is the radius of our Gaussian surface. So this is the expression for electric field intensity outside the shell. Okay,